for the opponent, it looks like hell. I mean, he just makes it miserable for them.
He certainly does. I think the most memorable Ice game for me is the time he was on Brewmaster and just kept
I remember.
going there. That was just... I think he had a... I want to say he had a Load Storm as well on top of talent, but I can't actually remember that. All I know is he had... It was stupid.
He had an Octarine core. And
yeah, an Octarine.
The uptime was just constant. And I believe he was the first one to do it as well. The first one we'd seen anyway, to just have 100% uptime with the Brewmaster split. And it had to be one of the funniest things we've ever seen. By the way, you can still do that, John. That hasn't been missed, by the way. That's not a problem.
Yeah, definitely not a problem. I'm not sure what you're trying to imply here.
Anyway, we should talk about the lanes, John. Mid lane, Moon is up against Abed. Of course, the Ember Spirit rather good up against that TA. Can still run into a few issues. I mean, this is Abed on his TA, but Moon should have an okay time, I assume.
Yeah, it does take a few levels again for the TA to really get its own damage going. The same thing goes for Ember Spirit, though. Like, level 1 and your shield is not going to block too much magic damage, nor is it going to pump out a heavy amount of harass. So it's going to be a bit of a toss-up until we start seeing that EXP flow in for both sides.
Of course, bot lane, Ice. Currently sitting in the lane alone, Raging Potato. Gonna loop around and deal a bit of harassment on that line. You see DJ, he'll be basically pulling the wave for his off-laner, trying to get some creep equilibrium going his way. Ice already starting with the trolling. Hipping Raging Potato because he basically done absolutely nothing. Of course, reactive armor is a pretty nice ability to have when you're in Timbersaw, John. Pretty much just heal up off the aggression of your opponents, and it looks like there may be a slight bit of aggressiveness coming up from the side of Mineski. So no stuns being thrown out. They'll just let the creep pool go on. So creep equilibrium will start going the way of Mineski this bot lane.
Yeah, just a nice clean pull, and just trying to correct that with their own pull for Mineski, of course. It's not the easiest hero to last hit under tower this starter, but KP is doing fine. The top lane, Ajit up against that Necrophos MP. It's fairly standard, I guess, and not too much harass coming out. Jab is just soaking some XP in the jungle. It's pretty much a farm trade, and I think that's what you really expect when you're laning against a lone druid for the most part. As a Necrophos, you can't apply too much harass. At the same time, the lone druid doesn't apply too much harass on Necrophos as well, so it's basically just a farm fest up here.
Speaking of harassment, I was just watching mid lane, and I mean, it was starting to get slightly more difficult for Moon now, because Abed is starting to hit a lot harder with that level 2 refraction. Does salve up, and he will be alright for the moment. Certainly does have to be wary of that, though. Those side blades, sometimes it looks like he hasn't got that perfect angle to get you with the side blades, but generally speaking, half the time he kind of does. Of course, you can cop a hell of a lot of damage. In fact, here we go again. Moon just salved up, but can't really stick around this lane for much longer unless he brings out more regen. In fact, Abed thought he may have gone for a dive there, but thinks better of it. Gonna play this safe, and we do see another salve coming out for Moon.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources going in to just sustain himself in this lane, and it's not even keeping him healthy for too long. And again, it's just down to how Moon has leveled. He went for the Sleight of Fist to dodge some damage and clear some waves a bit faster, but again, that means he can't apply too much damage on Abed, and that's First Blood.
Yeah, First Blood, I apologize. I did kind of skip away because Ice was losing a lot of HP, but Abed does end up getting him. John, I'm assuming it was just a few right clicks from Abed that got the job done? Yeah, nothing
pretty
special?
Much. Nah.
Alright. They were dealing quite a bit of harassment out onto Ice at that bot lane. Of course, Bash of the Deep is a thing now. Got to be very wary of that up against KP, who has been dishing out the harassment once again. He does have both those supports with him as well that can just combo those stuns that they have. Of course, KP can throw one out as well. In fact, he's going to go right now. Ice tries to chain away, but the magic missile is perfect. The Hex is there as well, and Raging Potato with that double damage should be able to take him out, but he was stunned up. There's another stun from KP, and that'll get the job done.
Yeah, it's actually fairly easy to kill off a Timbersaw as he's, what, level 3? I want to say he kind of gets out of control by 4 to 5, so this is the time for Mineski to apply that amount of pressure, especially with the supports they have. Again, they do want a good start here.
Moon was in trouble, although he does get help from Ninja Boogie, who does manage to find jabs in that mid lane on the Phoenix. Moon was on about 25 HP at the time, but he does manage to walk away, and I believe that's the third salve he's had to buy now. He will salve up and remain in the lane, but look, you get the kill on the Phoenix, that's great. The problem is, Abed is still farming like an absolute machine. He's basically got almost double the last hits right now of Moon. And you've got to remember, he's gotten at least 3 salves so far. It's a lot of gold wasted on just trying to stay in the lane.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold wasted, and he's already quite a fair bit behind in EXP. 1 full level behind Abed right now. So Abed is really just going to take control of this lane with the side traps, of course, to clear out waves and scout ahead. I'm not really sure how Moon can recover from this.
DJ comes in, he was waiting in the tree line, and here comes Abed as well. Moon has no remnants available, but he's going to make a run for it. Abed with those traps slowing him down, and this should be a kill. It looks like it will be. In fact, Moon, he does go down. Now Ninja trying to help him out, though. Raging Potato as well coming in. But DJ has salved up, and we'll see if he can juke them out here. In fact, I don't think he really needs to. Ninja Boogie, he doesn't have any mana left for the magic missile, so they'll just have to watch him walk away.
Yeah, that's going to be a regen rune for Abed as well, so he gets to stay in this lane once more, while
oh my.
Moon is forced to just kind of try to get as much as he can.
One of those things, with an Ember Spirit as well, it's one of those snowball heroes, really based on momentum, and Moon dying twice already. In fact, hold that thought, because bot lane, KP finds himself in trouble. We'll be alright, both his supports will stick around with him, but Ice basically almost soloing KP and now going after Ninja Boogie. Leave him be for the moment. Raging Potato now going to try and help out. They all have pretty much full mana apart from KP. But it's a very, very scary objective to go for on Ice. They're just trying to control him at the moment, really, but he's regenning all that damage up. And here comes Jabs on the Phoenix to try and help out. Now Ninja Boogie will stun up the Phoenix. Ice sticking around for the moment. In fact, he's going to keep going on the VS. Meanwhile, Jabs, he does go through, and they will eventually get the Vengeful Spirit. Now Jabs will go and help DJ out on that Nyx Assassin. They're going to go after Raging Potato. KP, though, will find Jabs on that Phoenix, and the Hex will be there. Ice not really willing to help at the moment. He thinks about it, but by the time he's coming in, Raging Potato and KP already leaving the area. With that, I suppose Mineski does get a nice kill out of it, John, but this lane is completely lost for Mineski.
Yeah, it's that point in the game where, you know, the Timbersaw is pretty much uncontestable. He's got 3 levels in reactive armor, he has 1 point each in his nukes, and he has his level 6. You can't really just stunlock the guy and hope to kill him anymore, not with how far behind your supports are naturally at this point in the game. So this is kind of at the point where you just kind of abandon this lane, try to find farm in the jungle, and just kind of let Timbersaw do what he does. Like, as long as you're not feeding him more kills, all he's really doing is just farm that lane, and there's only so much a Timbersaw can scale up with. Sure, he's going to be massive by the mid-game, but if you delay past that, we've seen Timbersaws fall off very hard if the game goes too long.
That is very, very true. Mid lane Jabs could be in trouble. Raging Potato with the Invis rune, looking to set up a kill. Has Ninja Boogie there, but Jabs understanding something doesn't seem quite right. Does continue hugging that tier 1 tower for the moment. Meanwhile, Moon still trying to find a place to farm. Got into level 7 now, so at the very least he has the escape mechanism with his remnants, but still finding this game slightly difficult, it seems. They do try to make a rotation out onto MP on that Necrophos, but again, he understands what's going on. They had a nice deep die observer ward there, so he scouted everything out. Now MP, he can easily just go and jungle for himself, although Raging will join in. Might try and snag some of these neutrals, but MP is level 7, and one more right click and he may have just thrown out the Reaper's Scythe. The Raging Potato does have to be very wary of that. But he will stick around, soak some XP. Moon will join him as well.
It's been a really rough start from Mineski, just even looking at the creep score right now. Abed is definitely far and beyond ahead, but even MP's not having bad time. Compare that with Ajit, who's 10 CS behind as the lone druid. Not the worst start, admittedly. He still has his Midas at a fairly good point, but it's not the most impressive start either.
They're going to try and go on MP now. They do stun him up as well. The bear is running in. MP, bit too tanky. He still had 9 1 charges and of course the ability to heal himself. Now Jabs joining in, and MP trying to bait them closer. Raging Potato will throw the stun out onto Jabs, and looks like Mineski not really interested in this team fight whatsoever. We'll just go and do the smart thing. They claim the bounty runes for themselves. Definitely the safer option.
Definitely is, and having all those runes does help, at the very least. It's starting to look a bit bad for Mineski, considering, again, the emphasis on early aggression for their lineup. The line and Venge dual support just feels like it kind of lacks impact. We're looking at 3-3 right now at 10 minutes, but it's a 3k network lead for Fnatic. They've really not done too much to slow down the acceleration on the side of Fnatic. We still see Abed pretty much free farming, going in and out of the jungle now. And he's going to get big really fast. He has enough money for his Blink Dagger, and after that, it's just going to be the Desolator straight up, and that backline is not going to last too long, Mike.
Yeah, you've always got that choice as well. With the TA, and you mentioned this yesterday, but it's the Desolator or the Blink Dagger you can opt for first. One or the other. With the Blink, you're basically telling the other team, I'm going to be aggressive this game. Abed certainly wants to join these team fights early on. They understand with the Timbersaw, they can take team fights very, very early on, pretty safely. It looks like that is going to be the game plan from Fnatic. Mineski, again, probably going to want to try and slow the momentum down from the Dire and try to get a few core items up on their cores.
Yeah, I think the key timings here... The key timings are definitely going to be on Moon. Again, Ember is just such a momentum-based hero. We need to see Moon with at least one mid-game item. Maybe the drums, maybe even a Eul's coming out would help his cause greatly. And just buy a lot of space for Ajit, because they're going to have to ride off of that into the late game.
Well, they're going in onto KP right now. Of course, DJ not really going in for the stun quite yet. Spike Carapace, but they knew he was there with the Sentry Ward, and now Ninja Boogie gets started, although Abed, with that new Blink Dagger, jumps in and just destroys Raging Potato. Meanwhile, Ninja Boogie getting chased down. The Impale does connect, of course, and Ice continuing the tips while all that's happening. He will allow KP to run away, or should I say KP is just way too fast. But this tier 2 tower, John, it's going to go down rather quickly.
Yeah, it's not going to stand up for too long. That's going to be the first tier 2 of the game. And again, that's a really good start for Fnatic, just taking control of the entire bot area of the map. They can easily sneak into that jungle, take absolute control there, shut down the farm, and shrink the map just that much more for Mineski, who needs every single spot they can get for farm.
I mean, they're trying their best. Like, you see Moon, he's sitting in the jungle farming, but he has to move straight away up towards the north side. Fnatic, of course, understanding they just want to keep him down as long as possible. Doing a good job of it, but Moon is also doing a fairly good job at staying out of trouble for the moment. In fact, they may go for a smoke attempt here, but Raging Potato going to sit on that high ground. They do have a smoke on Ninja Boogie. The question is, how successful will this be, though? Like, they're not really in the prime position to go for a gank attempt. Fnatic, they are sticking as 5 right now. In fact, KP may end up going down. Impale does connect from DJ, and Abed again will jump in immediately, and the Reaper's Sight to take care of him. Just a very, very quick job on KP, and fortunately for KP, he just can't really get much done at this rate. And that's not his fault, John. It's just Fnatic are just playing very well.
Yeah, definitely. So again, that comes down to losing that tier 2. It gives Fnatic so much more room to slip in and out of that jungle. It's really not a safe spot to be in. You're going to need a lot more sentry wards around to watch yourself in those camps. With Nyx around, I think the one thing for Mineski right now is that finger.
Go for a gank. They do get DJ, John. The Finger of Death was available, so they burst DJ down. But now they've got to take a full-scale team fight. In fact, they want to. Abed, though, has jumped in, and that egg is going to tick all the way down. In fact, no, it's not. Ajit does manage to find it. MP, he will manage to get Ninja Boogie. But that does work out a bit better for the side of Mineski.
Yeah, it's probably one of the first fights that really favor Mineski. And again, that comes down to them really forcing that smoke. I think the key thing to why they force that smoke is the Finger of Death being up. It's a massive cooldown at level 1. Once your line hits level 6, you really want to use it at once. You want to put it on cooldown, you want to keep using it every time it's up, and I think that's going to be the key smoke timing for Mineski. Every time that Finger's up, they're going to have to want to smoke up and find a kill.
Can't disagree with you on that one. Top lane Moon has to be very careful. He gets the Rod of Atos placed on him, and now DJ jumps in, and this should be an easy kill, and it will be. Abed will find him and takes him out. To make matters even better, there are bounty runes up, and Raging Potato is going to sacrifice his life to get that one. That is arguably well worth it, though, for the side of Mineski to sacrifice their lives for those bounties right now, because, I mean, you're giving gold to your whole team. Like, it's a fair amount of net worth. Top lane John, Jabs, he was in trouble, does shrine up, and KP really didn't want to go any further for it once the shrine activated. Meanwhile, top tier 2 tower, copying a lot of damage from Abed. They did fortify, and it will delay things for the side of Fnatic, but I'm sure they'll get back to it in just a moment.
It's a very slow dismantling of Mineski's map here coming from Fnatic. They've really just chipped away at the entirety of the map. They're farming the Radiant side of the jungles. They're really pretty much just taking economic control of this game, and it's getting harder and harder for Mineski to really get anything. I mean, Abed has had a fairly free time. He's not participated in anything much, but
they're going to go in on Ice, John. Top lane, that is not an easy target, but that bash does a lot of damage, and they will find him. That is a massive pickup for Mineski. I believe that's the second death of Ice, and at the very least, it's a fair bit of golden XP, and a desperately needed kill going to the side of Mineski.
Yeah, definitely much needed kill on that Timbersaw. Probably not as much gold as you'd expect to swing back, but a kill's a kill, and at this point they need every single one they can get. Again, at this point for Mineski, they've missed their early game power spike. I feel right now is buying space for Abed, who has had a lot of space. Let's see if it is going to pay off. He is slowly farming up. It looks like he is emphasizing on the lone druid rather than the bear.
Oh, Jabs. KP doesn't actually throw out the stun. Ice, gonna come in. Finger of Death coming out from Raging Potato. Can he find Jabs? Yes, he can, but he's gonna lose his own life for that. I believe that probably is okay from Raging Potato. Get that Phoenix off the game, and essentially, you're not too afraid of team fights, although Abed, they get caught out. They did scout out DJ with that sentry, but a nice impale comes out from the high ground. There was no follow-up, though, and DJ will just have to let that one go.
Yeah, again, pretty nice trade. Support for support. I think the key thing there was that Finger was expended, whereas Egg was definitely not. So in the next team fight, Fnatic has a 1-up in terms of ultimate spells being available.
Absolutely. We haven't spoken much about Abed, John, but it looks like he is going for the actual lone druid build.
Yeah, he's
on the hero rather than the bear.
Yeah, he's going for that Maelstrom, going for that Hurricane Pike next. The emphasis is going to be on him, which is fair enough if he doesn't expect the bear to live long enough. That is going to impact his ability to push as much, though, because split pushing is definitely usually on the bear build. It's not like the LD can't push well, but again, just the split pushing factor is with that Aghanims on the bear, just having him run around and push by himself.
I feel like it's fair enough, though. Oh, actually, nice swap mid lane. Ninja Boogie will find Jabs once again, who was trying to get the D-ward off, and unfortunately for him, not only does his sentry get taken out, but he did not get the Observer Ward from the Radiant side before he ended up dying. So a fantastic play from the Vengeful Spirit on the side of Mineski.
Yeah, again, nice clean kill. Jabs has been giving quite a fair bit away. I feel like that's definitely not what you want, at the very least. His respawn cooldown is fairly low at this point in the game, so he is going to be back up and ready if ever a team fight does break out. Otherwise, I feel like Fnatic is definitely taking their time here. They're not forcing the issue with a 5v5. They're not really maximizing their ultimates right now. They're just happy with securing farm.
Fnatic are going to try and go for a Rosh attempt, because Abed does have the Desolator up now, so does take the Roshan relatively fast, but he made it obvious and he gets swapped in. Ninja Boogie once again in that exact same spot. The meld will be there, but they've got the vision On that TA though, Abed will turn around. Reaper Cycle's there just in case. They'll find one kill. Now the egg being laid down as well. Moon just wants to get out. In fact, he finds a kill onto Abed. Now still trying to run. A nice dodge with the sleight of fist from the egg. But he still can't get out of this one, it seems. And Ice will find him. And Mineski, do they want to take this further? They did buy back on KP. They got Abed, but they'll leave it on that.
Really good 2-for-1 trade going way of... I guess that's a big deal for Mineski, as they did take out Abed. They just had to lose 2 cores to do it, and buy back as well.
Well, they found Ice now, John. Nice stun. They stopped the chains midway, and Ice getting bashed, and there's the finger of death from Raging Potato. Starting to get those stacks up on that ultimate. And I've got to tell you, I'm kind of impressed with the Mineski right now. Like, Fnatic had a very, very demanding lead, but it almost feels like Mineski's starting to take over the momentum of the game.
They are starting to recover a bit. They've got some items up on Moon, which I feel are really crucial. They have the Blade Mail and the drums, so he does have some damage coming out.
Jabs gets caught out as well. He will use the Icarus Dive and try to TP away, but Moon is there with the sleight of fist. And I mean, Ninja Boogie kind of said it. It's like Fnatic, they're perhaps getting a little overconfident, John. They're taking some risks that are a bit unnecessary. Their positioning not the greatest right now, and well, Mineski's making them pay for it.
I have to say it is rather curious.
Mid lane, swap again. Ninja Boogie finds it. Is this meant to be a bait? It could be. DJ, he's still alive throughout all this, and now Ninja Boogie does fall quite low, but KP has found Ice. So he will just return into the team fight. Looks like Mineski will be able to get out scot-free as well. So nobody loses anything. Ninja Boogie, on that Vengeful Spirit, he's had so many good swaps already this game. It feels like it's almost being served to him on a silver plate. Abed find himself in a spot of bother. He'll have to give that bear away. Tries to get the Savage Roar off, but they weren't really in range for it. He will get the respawn immediately. And I guess that's kind of the explanation as to why he's going the Lone Druid build itself. Because the bear just melts with all that minus armor coming out from the TA, and Ice, of course, with the Whirling Death. It's a hell of a lot of damage that gets dealt to that bear.
Yeah, it's a fair choice to make. Again, it's just the power of Revenge plus the Slaughter and the TA.
Ice jumps in, top lane. So very, very nice chains, although Moon will come in with the sleight of fist chains, and he has got MP. Now the stun as well coming out from Raging Potato. Do they want to take this team fight? Looks like they are going to hold out. They're going to play the patience game. Just allowing Abed to keep getting that farm up on that Lone Druid. But Fnatic do not want to allow that whatsoever. They're going to continue this aggression. They catch. Abed in a new position right now.
Oh.
Doesn't get scouted out, however. Meanwhile, Moon, he has found the Necrophos. MP will back off to safety. Mineski definitely don't want to fight up the high ground. Give that immediate advantage away to Fnatic. Looks like Mineski, John, they're going to smoke up and perhaps go from behind. They see the courier going in, although they've run the wrong way, and now KB's in trouble. He gets impaled up, and it's a lot of damage from Ice. The two supports of Mineski ran way too north, and now they just have to TP out of there.
Yeah, rather unfortunate. I'm not sure if they were really in the proper position to take that fight anyway, even if they were pumped up. Again, they're walking up to that kill zone in the high ground, up by that left side of the bottom jungle. It's a risky spot to be at, and I guess that does open up the Roche pit for Fnatic now, as it drops fairly quick to Abed.
Roshan not going to last much longer, and it looks like Mineski, I mean, they're definitely aware of what's going on, but not willing to take the risk on the Roche. They'd rather just leave it be for the moment. Of course, Abed now will grab the Aegis for himself, and if it wasn't hard enough to kill him once, you're going to have to kill this man twice.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy time. Again, Abed, even though he isn't the tankiest hero, he relies a lot on refraction charges, and that does tick away quite fast against something like the Ember Spirit. It's going to be a bit of a task to try to kill him twice, and as long as Abed jumps in at the right time, I feel like that might not even be an issue. As long as he's not taking the brunt of their attention, he can pump out that damage. He's still only died once in this game, so it has been working out quite well. We'll see if he can keep it up. Again, it's just a bit of a slowdown for Fnatic, as they haven't really forced the cleanest 5v5 when they do have a bit stronger teamfight coming out for that egg, at least in terms of area control. They're just, I wouldn't say they're passive, but they're not actively seeking to engage as much.
Mineski just made a rather interesting play. They smoke up with Arjit, although Arjit starts hitting the dire creeps while he was smoked. And I believe that made it rather obvious to Fnatic that they were smoked up, and they do run to the east side of the map. I'm not sure if that was an intentional play from Arjit to try and bait the side of Fnatic to run in after him, but in the end it does not work out. And now the side of Fnatic is smoked, but Jabs kind of makes a similar thing happen. He uses the Sunray mid lane. Looks like these people aren't the biggest fans of smokes, John. Although top lane, Raging Potato, gonna show himself, will immediately go for the TP, and at the very least does waste a bit of the time of Fnatic. I say that. Moon. Sneak up from behind, although he'll remnant out. Raging Potato was still there apparently. I thought he TP'd out, John.
He must have cancelled it. I was pretty confused too, because I saw his TP, and I just assumed it was going to go off. He might have been waiting for Moon to come around, because Moon was in that area, but it seems like it might have been a bit of miscommunication.
No, fair enough. KP now, trying to get a creep skip going, and realizes he may have people behind him. Makes an immediate run to the dire jungle. Abed, meanwhile, is setting up to take that mid-tier 2 tower. We'll get started. He's feeling very safe once again. He is still holding an Aegis on him. Does pick up a brand new BKB as well. 10-second charge available on that TA. The thing's got a hell of a lot harder in terms of taking down him. They do take out the last outer tier 2 on the map. With that, they may just knock on tier 3s while they've got the Aegis. Why the hell not? Ice will go to the back lines. Abed will jump straight up to Arjit though. Nice swap there from Ninja Boogie. And now another swap. They're going straight after that Necrophos though. Can they burst him down? The roots, they will get him. KP making sure he can't heal up or get away. And again, Ninja Boogie with the all chat, and that will actually save them from losing a tier 3 or a Rax for that matter.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that they do lose out on Necrophos so fast. I think, you know, they really have to watch for that swap. It's just losing, I feel like Necrophos is one of the big ones. The next one is probably losing Jab's Phoenix. Yeah, you're going to lose out on a big amount of team fight that you're going to need to siege at high ground. So having either of those two heroes swapped out is going to hurt you a lot. I mean, of course, it's going to hurt if you get Abed as well. So I feel like they're going to need some upper vision, or at the very least have Ice really just stand way forward.
Bot lane, they're going to go in and try to take down the Phoenix, and they do. Finger of Death committed for that, though. Raging Potato will also die in the process, but they'll get the other out of there. Perfectly fine on that Ember. Just TP straight back to the fountain. By the way, John, Moon did manage to pick up a Radiance just about 30 seconds ago, I believe. Does have that Radiance active now. Quite a nice item to have. He's actually caught up in farm quite decently over the period of this game.
Yeah, he's managed to farm up what he needs. He's bounced back quite well. That Radiance beam up does deliver a lot more damage for the side of Mineski, and that is going to help them out. It also burns down the TA shield nicely, so it's a pretty good item to pick up at this point. I do believe we're going to see Radiance coming out from MP fairly soon as well, so that should be something to watch out for as well the moment it comes out.
Mid push was coming in from Fnatic, but they see their top lane being pushed in by KP, and it looks like they are not willing to continue the push through the mid lane. KP again showing himself, and the lines being drawn out immediately. Mineski will just hold the high ground. They do buy a smoke on Raging Potato. He's just getting it out on the courier. So perhaps it's time for a smoke, and it will be. All 5 heroes of Mineski. Who do they aim for? They've pinged out Ice, and he is just a major issue in this game for them. but he realizes something's wrong, will TP out immediately. Very hard catch out a player like Ice, who does have that fantastic game sense, and he's got a lot of experience, John. He knows when a team's smoked up.
Yeah, this guy has been playing Dota for what feels like forever now, I have to admit. Like, he's just been around for so damn long. So, you know, his senses would be developed as an old man's senses would be.
Is that coming from an old man, John?
Ah, well, you know how it is, Mike. Yes.
Yeah. Boundary room. 30-minute mark. Fair bit of gold. Both teams will manage to grab 2 by the looks of it. Spirit Bear has absolutely no items on it. It's just basically on boundary room duty. Ajit, though. Top of the net worth board, doing very well for his team. Just a matter of making sure he stays alive and he's able to just pump out that DPS throughout a team fight. He's going to have a Daedalus up relatively soon as well. Pretty much almost has the amount of gold he needs for it. May need to save up for buyback as well.
We do see the Radiance coming out in MP now, so they do have that added damage on this Necrophos and a little bit more tankiness if you want to consider it burn. The mischance adding to his potential tankiness that is there now for MP. I think the one thing Fnatic really needs is to get a good jump. I feel like they haven't had a good gank in a while, at the very least. Something that led to an explosive team fight has not happened recently, so it definitely has slowed down a fair bit. 13 to 15, 31 minutes in, 7k network lead still for Fnatic, which is pretty consistent. They have had the lead the entire match, but it's not as wide of a gap as it felt before. Not like when it was 4k at 10 minutes, 7k at 31 in comparison just doesn't feel as one-sided. So Mineski's still definitely in this game, Mike.
Do have a nice smoke though from Fnatic. KP may get caught out here. He has been scouted by DJ. Impale will not be there. He couldn't quite find the angle. He was in a bit of an awkward position. Meanwhile, mid lane, they want to go on Ice while he's alone, but they can't really burst him down fast enough, and he does have his team to back him up now. In fact, Jabs is going to Icarus dive in. Hex will be there onto MP, and it looks like Mineski are more than happy to walk out of this one. I like the idea behind it, of course, going for Ice while they know he's alone, but fortunately, again, it is a Timbersaw, and it's very hard to burst a hero like that down without sufficient magic damage.
Definitely so. Just really unfortunate both sides couldn't find what they wanted there. Fnatic not managing to get that kill on KP. I feel like Abed might have jumped the gun a bit by blinking in. I definitely feel like you should have canceled that blink with DJ first at the very least.
Both teams once again the same position. Like Fnatic, they have the map control right now. Mineski 8k net worth behind, but they are still managing to find enough farm to keep them in this game. Just a matter of Fnatic being able to catch someone off Mineski out of position. Preferably, of course, a core for them to go in. Though they do find themselves a Roshan now, and they'd rather go get that first. That will mean an Aegis and a Cheese going the way of Fnatic. It looks like Mineski don't really have any sort of idea that this is happening. This will be a very, very easy Roshan going to the side of the Dire.
That is the second Rosh as well, so that is the Cheese coming along to the side of Fnatic. Should really help the cause. Probably going to give that Cheese to... could be Ice, could be MP. Probably going to be held on Ice for now.
Rotate up to the top lane now. Have to start chipping at that tier 3 tower once again. Was Abed holding onto that Aegis. Does have a new Hurricane Pike up, so getting just that much harder. His BKB, by the way, is still sitting at 10k. Sorry, 10 seconds. He hasn't had the necessity to use it yet. So you've still got that to worry about as well on the side of Mineski.
I feel like that's actually kind of worrisome for Fnatic. The fact that, you know, he bought that BKB much earlier on. Still hasn't used the charge. It just shows how slow this game has turned into.
Moon? Surely he has a remnant out somewhere, but BKB's up and goes for a run. He actually has to TP as well. Rod of Atos will not go through BKB. He's on cooldown anyway. Ice won't be able to claim the kill. At the very least, he does expend a BKB charge from Moon. Now lowers it down to the 9-second mark. So that was unfortunately the 10-second BKB being used by Moon in that situation. Fnatic, they will smoke up immediately, trying to go for a team fight. While this BKB is not available, but again, Mineski just happy to hold that high ground and play it safe.
Yeah, again, it's just really safe plays from both sides, just trying to find pickoffs where they can. And it really shows with the BKB usage. Again, Abed had his BKB much earlier on, still a 10-second charge. We saw Moon waste his first charge for the first time at the 5-minute mark. I feel like if you're Abed and this is, you know, you had that BKB sitting for a long time, you must feel slightly frustrated because instead of spending that 3k on the BKB, you might have been able to get something that at the very least helps you farm a bit faster or just pump out more damage earlier on if you're not taking these big 5v5s. Could accelerate your farm a bit more and be more efficient in that downtime. But,
well, they might find Ajit. He does back off. There could be a team fight in that Radiant jungle, and in fact DJ gonna spot him out. They will jump in straight onto Ninja Boogie and they'll burst him down immediately, although they're also trying to go onto jabs on that Phoenix, but he gets the egg off. Now KP trying to take it down, but he hasn't got the time for it. He backs out of there, although they will get it regardless. Reaper's Scythe, however, will get KP. Now all hell's broken loose. Ice trying to make the chase. DJ still controlling up Moon, and they'll take Moon out as well. Meanwhile, Ninja Boogie, he just bought back. He's very low. Rod of Atos on Raging Potato. They'll find that kill. They'll get the dieback, it seems, on Ninja Boogie as well. The only lone survivor will be the lone druid. But Ajit, I don't think he can defend this on his own. At the very least, they're going to have to get the buybacks out from KP and Raging Potato and see if they can get this Rax defended.
It's going to be a really tall task to defend against the full power of Fnatic right now. 3v5, it's not the most favorable thing, especially with the heroes you have left. I feel like if Ember Spirit was still in that mix, you'd be a bit better. At the very least, you can push back the creeps, but in this case, I think they're just going to have to accept that they're going to lose 2 sets of racks, possibly more if Fnatic doesn't let off in pressure. They still have the Aegis, they still have the cheese. I don't see Fnatic pulling back for any reason at all.
Well, Abed was focusing on the mid racks, while Ice was starting the tier 4 towers, apparently, as the Timber saw. Meanwhile, MP will take down the bot racks by himself, and Abed will try to secure the mega creeps. In fact, it looks like they will find the Spirit Bear. Another nice 300 for gold going to the way of Abed. And yeah, this looks like mega creeps. They are not going to expend the gold for those buybacks. Looks like they're going to try and go for the mega creep defense. In fact, no, KP, he'll buy it back. Well, he had 15 seconds left. And now they're going to make the jump onto Abed. It's not a very easy target to go for. He still has the Aegis, and now KP right in the middle of all of it. They'll burst down Moon, however. He has no buyback available. Now Ice will be the target, but he is so darn tanky. And meanwhile, KP has been left to his own devices. He's surrounded right now. The rest of the heroes are just kind of sitting back, and it's GG. They can't do much about that. As soon as you lose Moon and you lose KP, no buyback available. Like, what else are you going to do, John?
It was always going to be a rough defense. The fact that Moon died first without that buyback in the first engagement, I think that pretty much sealed the fate of that high ground. At the very least, getting mega creeps was going to be... That was it. There was no way you're going to defend with the 3 heroes, even if you had 3 against 5 without the Phoenix Egg on Fnatic's side. A bit of a shame that last engagement didn't turn out well. I feel like that definitely was a bit of a miscoordination. They must have felt desperate to hold that last set of racks. I feel like, you know, if they just gave it away and tried to turtle it, I mean, they still had the Lone Druid, they had an Ember that could scale much, much more. It might have been a bit better, but, you know, this game was definitely like a coiled spring. Just one wrong move and it went popping. So Fnatic does come out on top after pretty much leading the game for a long time, but it was fairly even for a prolonged period.